Welcome to Music from the Heartland with Songs at the Center, celebrating the craft of songwriting. This episode features a writer of 2 #1 hits for the Judds and 7 other top 10 hits by major label artists, Craig Bickhardt, named by our colleagues at NPR as one of the 10 Nashville artists on the rise, Kyshona Armstrong. And finally, world touring artist Jesse Terry has agreed to sit still long enough to appear with us here on Songs at the Center. Funding for Songs at the Center provided by...
At the James at Ohio State, a cancer diagnosis is never routine. That's why we opened the James Cancer Diagnostic Center, a place where you can turn if you think you have cancer. Learn more at cancer.osu.edu/diagnostic center.
Funding also provided by Jobs Ohio.
Hey, Grandpa, someday I'm gonna touch the top of that tree.
Well, why stop there when you can touch the sky and create amazing things? And you can touch hearts, expand minds and imaginations. But no matter what you do, I want you to promise me one thing, that you will always reach for the top.
I promise, Grandpa.
If you can dream it, you can find it here.
Bye, Mr. Tree.
Now the creator and host of our show, singer-songwriter Eric Gnezda.
Welcome to Songs at the Center. We're the fun show that explores the world of the singer-songwriter. And on this episode, we're very happy to have with us Jesse Terry.
Hello.
Kyshona Armstrong and Craig Bickhardt. Jesse Terry, you've written a song called When We Wander, and it's a song about your family and was kind of motivated by your daughter and your wife. But when you talk about wandering, you say that one thing that your family's helped you understand is that wandering's not just about physical wandering. You can wander within the mind to various places. And I'm just interested in knowing a little bit more about this song and how you came to write it and what influence your family had with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, it really was written as a pretty literal idea. You know, I mean, we've been touring as a family since I started touring. You know, in 2010, I started touring with my wife full time living in our car. And then we finally got an apartment about a year later. And then when our daughter was born, we brought her on the road as well, and she thrived and went all over the world. But I wrote this song, and it was supposed to come out in May of 2020. And it didn't feel right, you know, to release the song.
Yeah.
And that's kind of when I realized more that there's the song's more than just physical wandering. It's more about wandering into new places, you know, wandering into what makes you feel alive and being fearless in that.
Well, let's hear it.
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody knows that glint in your eyes. You leave this home we built in a moment's time and sail away without knowing the wind. For we may never have the chance again. When we wander, and don't it feel like we're finally found? When we wander, we always find our way somehow. Someday we may raise a child of our own, and everybody tells you how a flower is supposed to grow.
but I love the way you only listen to the stars and chart a course from the rhythm of a heart. When we wander, don't it feel like we're finally found? When we wander, we always find our way somehow. And we've seen things that can't be bought, chose not to be afraid, but everything has its cost. But here I will remain, where the wildest horses run, 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 run. When we wander, don't it feel like we're finally found? When we wander, we always find our way. We always find our way. We always find our way somehow.
Thank you, Jesse Terry.
Thank you very much. Nashville is a very special place, and it's like still feels like a home to me. But I started after many years of writing on Music Row and kind of co-writing with hundreds of different people. I really got burnt out on co-writing and needed to find what my own voice was and what my own style was, and I'm continuing to figure that out, as I grow and evolve. So I needed some space from that, and I also needed some time kind of off the map to have a refuge and to write by myself.
Kyshona Armstrong, welcome to our show. So happy to have you. You write what you call protest songs, and that is a term that some people like to shy away from, but you actually endorse the use of that word. And tell us why.
I think where we are now in the world, people have a visceral reaction to the word protest. But I think of the word protest as something that's calling people in. So I like to call people in through my music, either calling them in to speak to the things they need to heal within themselves, because if we are all healed, my thought is we can also then heal as a community.
And you've written many songs with that theme, but tell us about this one in particular.
Yeah, this is one called More in Common, which is the reminder that it doesn't matter how different we look, how different we love, who we love, how we love. If we see past all of our differences, we'll find that we have way more in common with one another than anything that can tear us apart.
That's great. I can't wait to hear it.
You've got your reasons, and I've got mine. Ain't no agreeing, no, but I'm on your side. I can't hear your heart over the screaming crowds. We've said awful things, but I'm still choosing you now. got more in common. We've got more in common. No matter what you think, where you've been, who you are, we've got more in common than what tears us apart. Second chances, they don't come every day, no. They're like sun in Seattle, or like February rain. So let's build up these bridges, oh, and tear down these walls, oh Lord. Let's give love when we need it and be ready to receive it, 'cause love is binding us all. We've got more in common. We've got more in common. No matter what you think, where you've been, who you are, we've got more in common than what tears us apart. Na 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 na. Take my hand, we'll rise together through the fire. You are my brother. The more we seek, the more we find it. More in common. Take my hand, we'll rise together through the fire. You are my brother. The more we seek, the more we find it. More in common, yes. Take my hand, we'll rise together through the fire. You are my brother. The more we seek, the more we find it. More in common. We've got more in common. We've got more in common. No matter what you think, where you've been, who you are, we've got more in common than what tears us apart. Na na na, na 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 na. Na na na, na 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 na. Na na na, na 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 na.
Thank you, Kyshona Armstrong. You're proving that it's the artists that are going to take us through these tough times. Thank you a lot.
And I found that through my songs, people later feel encouraged to say, you know, I've been struggling with XYZ. And just because they were strong enough to state what they've been walking through, that helps someone else feel stronger. That helps someone else feel stronger, that they can raise their voice. And it could be about mental health, you know? And the more that we speak out about something, the more it's brought to light. And when things are brought to light, then that gives opportunity for them to be fixed or examined further and deeper.
This episode of Songs at the Center comes to you from the Davidson Theater in downtown Columbus, Ohio. Named after Joanne Davidson, the first female Speaker of Ohio's House of Representatives.
Craig Bickhardt, welcome to Songs at the Center. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you. Nice to be here, Eric. I appreciate it.
Those of us who know music know your history. You were in Nashville for a long time, and back in the day, you wrote 9 top 10 hits. Wrote with and for people like the Judds, Steve Wariner, Kathy Mattea, Alison Krauss, Johnny Cash, the Highwaymen. The list just goes on and on. But one of those songs is one that stuck with me and a lot of listeners throughout the years, and that's This Old House.
Thank you. That's a song I wrote with my dear friend Thom Schuyler. It was written about a house, a real house in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The family was moving out. It was Tom's relatives. And he came back from Nashville and told me that he wanted to write about that experience. And I think I was the one who suggested that we write it from the perspective of the house, but that's not a new thing. That's personification. It's what Steve Goodman used in City of New Orleans. So anyway, this is sung from the perspective of the house and people moving out of it. There are 50 liquor boxes in my hall, and 100 empty nails on my wall. There's a sign out in my yard that reads for sale. If this old house could cry, the tears would fall. There are bargain-hungry vultures everywhere, buying broken toys, old clothes, and Tupperware. The phone's been taken out, they've stopped the mail. If this old house could talk, I'd say a prayer. I've been strong and I've been sturdy, and I weathered every storm. I've always kept your family safe and warm. Now you're packing up the laughter and just sweeping out the tears. If this old house were built on memories, I would stand 1,000 years. This old house, this old house. If this old house were built on memories, I would stand 1,000 years. Take another look before you lock my door. Where your shoes have worn the finish from my floors. Listen to my banging pipes and my creaking stairs. Let your boy slide down my banister once more. I'll remember where you hid the extra key, where the hammer and the band-aids used to be. I will smell your morning coffee in the air, and I'll see you hanging tinsel on the tree. I've been strong and I've been sturdy, and I've weathered every storm. I've always kept your family safe and warm. Now you're packing up the laughter and just sweeping out the tears. If this old house were built on memories, I would stand 1,000 years. This old house, this old house. If this old house were built on memories, I would stand 1,000 years.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Craig Bickhardt.
Thank you very much. I think, like some creative people, I suffer from depression. I'm willing to admit that. And I'm usually in a spot when I start a song where I've been challenged by something. There's been an irritant. I like to think of it as the grain of sand in the oyster, you know. Something that irritates me personally, whether it's sadness or anger or frustration. And I'm in a darker place, but when I write, I don't necessarily write about that dark place. I try to write towards the light. I try to get to a spot where I've either resolved that conflict or figured out why I was in the dark place, what I need from the light place. It sounds cliche and it sounds oversimplified, but it generally works for me, you know, to be cornered in a spot and try to write my way out of that, you know. And I say writing from the darkness toward the light. I don't mean that necessarily in a spiritual sense, although sometimes it does come out that way. It's just a particular quirk of my personality, I think, that plays into the writing.
Eric, we would love to hear a song of yours. Would you play one for us, please?
I'd love to, and I want to tell you, Kyshona, that all of you have inspired me today with your inclusivity and your empowerment. And it brought up this song, which was commissioned by the Ohio Special Olympics, which I did for them, and thought it might be an appropriate song to do in this environment. Thank you. We travel through this life on a rough and rocky path, try to do the best with what we have. We've all got our dreams and things to overcome. We all want a chance at being number one, but everyone wins when we're holding on together. Everyone wins when we reach with all we have, when we give ourselves to something that comes from deep within. Everyone wins. And so we move along, not sure just where it ends. We take a fall, then get up once again. And we just never know when something we might do will knock somebody down, or maybe pull them through. Everyone wins when we're holding on together. Everyone wins when we reach with all we have. Give ourselves to something, that's when the love begins, and everyone wins. Everybody pull together, victory will last forever. Give yourself to something deep within. Everybody for each other, victory for one another. Reach inside, that's where the love begins. Everyone wins. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. We hope you'll tune into television stations all across America, where you'll always find Songs at the Center. I'm Eric Gnezda, and we'll see you next time.
funding for Songs at the Center provided by Jobs Ohio.
Hey, Grandpa, someday I'm gonna touch the top of that tree.
Well, why stop there when you can touch the sky and create amazing things? And you can touch hearts, expand minds, and imaginations. But no matter what you do, I want you to promise me one thing, that you will always reach for the top.
I promise, Grandpa.
If you can dream it, you can find it here.
Bye, Mr. Tree.
Additional funding provided by
At the James at Ohio State, a cancer diagnosis is never routine. That's why we opened the James Cancer Diagnostic Center, a place where you can turn if you think you have cancer. Learn more at cancer.osu.edu/diagnostic center.
Learn more about Songs at the Center at songsatthecenter.tv.